Most people in life are looking at how do I make a living and how do I make retirement and how do I take care of my kids when I'm old and gray and don't have the means to do it anymore. A lot of people have not planned for retirement is absolutely true. They're living paycheck to paycheck, they're living beyond their means, they're not shopping at appropriate places, and they're spending way too much to make their kids happy instead of their own financial futures worthwhile. When I'm talking like this, I'm talking like a person who knows something about poverty and is someone who knows something about success. You see, in life we have moments of time to make a difference for people. And when we make a difference for people, we literally know what to say sometimes. But we don't always know what to do in someone's presence. Sometimes just sitting down with someone, holding their hands and looking at them for a little while helps to bring back the love that one needs to feel. Other times, literally going off on them for a few minutes to see how they react to us can sometimes also do it. But in truth, what we're really trying to do is make peace in the land. And when we try and make peace within our families, it's really not about what we feel. It's openly about what they might feel, but the problem is where their feelings begin and end is with their own lives. When they start to bring their feelings, their opinions, their ideas, their principles, and their theories into our life, it's when they've crossed the boundaries of healthy relationships. And openly, Codependency No More was written by Melody Beattie long ago. And if you haven't read the book, I'd encourage you to do so, because your job is not to make someone else happy. Your job is to principally be yourself, and in that regard, you help celebrate other people in being their selves. I've seen several people in the community this day that are feeling a little uncomfortable. They're feeling uncomfortable because in one case, a teenager's family is having difficulties at home, and he's not sure how to process leading and living and dealing with people in his workplace that are older, more mature, and have no interest in him as a man. And that's sort of hard for a young man. At the same time, I've literally seen trans people in the community working in different places. And I've literally said, look, if you're going to do this, do it wholeheartedly. Don't do it half-ass. Because in life, God is looking at your soul, not at your fashion or at your clothing. Now, if I say this out loud, what will the religious right think of a pastor who talks on this? The reality is that it's the transition of the soul that goes to heaven. It is nothing beyond that. No part of the body transitions, no part of the brain goes, no part of the loins go. So when people make it such a big deal about going to the bathroom and everything else in front of these people, I just want to hurl. I just say, what century did you grow up in? Nobody sits there and voyeurs in on someone's toilets, and only people in foreign lands like Asia do crap like that that's so juvenile that it's below our intelligence levels. Now, when I talk like this, I'm talking about a real person. I'm talking about real people that I've met who did a lovely job serving me in their professional realm. And that's literally their job. Their job is to serve people in a way that makes others feel good. It is not to serve themselves in a way that makes them feel queenish or lordly over anyone else. There are plenty of people who want to lord over other people's lives. I've talked about these odd situations with alleged Christians and alleged churchgoers who just literally thought they were going to provide me a meal and decide what my body was going to eat, whether or not I was allergic or not. I've had a lot of people giving me bread, which I'm allergic to. I've had a lot of people giving me chocolate, which I'm allergic to. I've had a lot of people trying to force water on me, which I can't drink by itself because of a programming situation I've been involved with. But the reality is that when I talk about healthy food, I'm talking about a lot of places. There's a lot of places to procure healthy food. The problem is how much it costs. When we get a good value, we return to that place over and over again. When the employees are shit, we don't do a thing. We don't bother going back. We might complain to our neighbors. We might literally make a bad reference to them in the long term. But openly, what we're talking about is how to produce a life worth living and a retirement worth having. And when I talk about this, I know quite well what that's like, because I produced my life in 20 hours a week in a foreign language program that someone monstrously stole the information, deleted the files on my program, and literally thought they could pretend to be me. If that's the case, my own students know what I sound like, they know what I feel like, and they absolutely know I know how to teach that language backwards and forwards without a textbook, without even my paperwork, and without the extra programming that I put together to help people to master the language really well. Now, in life, we have moments of time to make a difference for people. We can either stare at them and think they're outlandish, or we can literally just say, you know what, they're living their dream. They're literally doing their thing. They're enjoying their environment. They're traveling. They're seeing the world. They're seeing the world in a different way, and they're openly having the chance to do that. Now, when a man is talking, he's talking in audio files. He's recording for a podcast, but openly it doesn't matter. What matters is that the people who he loves most, the people most important to his mind, heart, and soul, the people that he regards the highest, the people that he would raise up, the people that he would protect with his life, the people that he proves that he protects with his life, the people that he proves that he protects with everything he is, literally have to get their crap together and see what is really love. Love is not some sexual relationship with some guy who's so hot shit that he just can't stop doing it with other people. Literally, what love is a commitment. A commitment that says, I love you regardless of how you're feeling. I love you regardless of how you're screaming at the top of your lungs. I love you regardless when you're having a bad day. I love you regardless when you're celebrating life. I love you regardless when your children are doing well in sports and other things. I love you regardless when they're little shits in the world because you failed to parent them correctly in your own selfish ways. You thought that you could teach them to be rich, and they can't. They can't do it because you've not produced it either. The reality is that in life, we are producing people who serve others. And when you serve others wholeheartedly. You serve others in customer service. You serve others with joy. You serve others, period. There is no way around it. You can't have a life without service to other people. And if you haven't learned how to solicit or how to interact with others to make a sale, it's not really a fault. It's not really a deficit. It's a matter of maybe that's not your calling. Other people are trainers, other people are educators, other people are literally trained teachers, but they never went into that field because the pay was not enough to make a living, and maybe their mind just wasn't strong enough to handle it every single day. Teachers literally have to do a lot of work, which is true, and there are plenty of candidates that want teachers to get a little higher living wage, but other people in the world handle more important matters of our bodies, such as food handlers. They need to make a higher wage so that they won't monkey with our food, they won't spoil what we do, and they won't disregard sanitation and other factors that keep us all healthy and safe. Whether it's a fast food restaurant, whether it's a sit-down meal, whether it's something in the grocery store, we have to be paying attention to who literally does what in our food handling. We also have to look at who's tilling the land, who's mining the farm, who's literally bringing in soil and soot from other places, other lands, even Mexico. We have to be leery of those type of landfill opportunities because we don't literally know what creatures live there. We don't need to bring in non-indigenous things to our land, and we don't need to have illegals doing more illegal things in our country. Illegal people tend to do illegal things. Now, there's different lines of illegality. There's different points of illegality. There's different times when we're illegal, but it's an innocent thing. There's other times when it's a total practical attack on someone's federally protected life, and that is not an innocent thing. In my particular case, I had birth family that literally obliterated my namesake in the way that it is my father's name. It is not my mother's name, it is my father's name that I carry with me. But when I produce that name for someone else, what's going to happen? Will I be allowed to be married? Will I allowed to be divorced? Will I be allowed to handle my own finances? Will I be allowed to handle my own bank accounts? Or has someone monstrously stolen those records, pretended to be me, and made a total mess out of my life? In time, we'll find out the full answers to these questions. But in your life, what are you practically trying to produce? Are you trying to produce something really loving for other people to get behind and really support you with? Or are you literally trying to just survive? When we just survive, we don't thrive. And when we don't thrive, we don't make enough to live on. When we don't make enough to live on, we certainly don't make enough to retire on. And that's the truth. In life, we have moments of time to make all the difference in the world for people. And right now, I'm fighting falling asleep because either A, I'm fatigued, or B, I've been programmed that every time I try and make a good audio file, something is going to hit me and say, you're not able to do this, you're falling asleep now. And that's the illicit behavior of the immorals and the illegals and the infidels that come into our country and literally violate our minds, destroy our cells, and literally obliterate our rights in the land with audio files in the subliminal tracks and inappropriate behavior when we are not fully awake. In life, we must make moments of time really important, valuable to all people, so that people do not seduce and solicit and ruin other people's lives. In time, the Lord will reveal himself is true, but when someone has gifts of the soul, you cannot say they are not of God's house. There is no form of Satan that would allow this to occur, is absolute truth. And in the moment of time, when you receive prophetic wisdom, are you smart enough to recognize it? Do you know literally the voice of God? And if you don't, how do you know what's what? In life, we have moments of time to make a difference for someone. Making a difference could save their life. Making a difference could move them forward. Making a difference could get them out of struggle and strife. And making a difference literally means I love you. No matter what you do, no matter what you say, that unconditional love of the Lord Jesus and all he represents is what we're really talking about. Thanks for listening.